Told my friend I told you, so after he got in a car crash. Now everyone's mad at me, but all I did was warn him before. And now he's angry that I didn't show more sympathy. I, 19M, am the only one with a car, so I was the one driving everyone around. I had a set of rules that everyone had issues with, such as seatbelts at the back too, no eating drinking, water accepted, no distracting me. They would often try shoving their phones to me, and no blocking my blind spot by sitting weirdly. I don't care if my car has blind spot monitoring, I prefer to check manually. Everyone constantly grilled me for my rules and made fun of me for following the law. Yes, I admit I miss my exit a quarter of the time, but I won't cut off other drivers or reverse just to save few minutes, an actual suggestion from them. One of my friends even said, if I had a car, I wouldn't drive like a grandma like you. You suck at driving. Suffice to say, I was relieved when one of my friends finally got a car and could be the group driver. At first, everyone roasted me in group chats and in real life, raving about how much more fun it was now that I wasn't driving. 5 months after getting his license and car, my friend told everyone in the group chat that he'd been in a car crash and his car was totaled. He shared the dashcam footage and genuinely thought he wasn't at fault, calling the other driver a dumb, typical female driver. The footage showed him going 75 km/h in a 50 km/h zone on a blind curve. The other driver was turning right, and he hit her at full speed. Instead of braking, he honked. For some reason, neither he nor the other driver got a ticket. I told him in the group chat that he was probably at fault, considering he was going 50% over the speed limit on a blind curve and just 100 meters from a 40 km/h school zone. Even if he had the right of way, insurance would deem him at fault due to his speed and slow reaction time. I told him not to send the footage to his insurance company. Of course, everyone in the chat called me a dumba, and one of them said, "Bro, I live near that neighborhood. My brother goes 80 on that street. Everyone does." That lady was the idiot. Since the cop didn't ticket him and the group chat supported him, he sent the footage to his insurance company. He was so confident that he started asking for suggestions on what new car to get once he received a fat paycheck. Everyone got hyped and started browsing Auto Trader. A week later, he got the verdict from his provider. He was deemed 100% at fault. He also had the cheapest insurance plan, so his insurance company paid nothing to him and only covered the other driver. Even if they had paid him something, he wouldn't be able to afford insurance with his record as a young male. In the group chat, I responded with, "Lomo, now you know why I drive like a grandma. Enjoy taking the bus." Cess. Everyone in the chat reacted with damn and the startled face emoji. He replied, "Rules are meant to be broken. I'm not a stickler like you. Everyone gets into a car crash." Next story. Sided with my mom after she told my wife she isn't family. Now my wife says I've betrayed her and chosen my mother over her. My beautiful wife Zoe and I have been married for a year. I have a 10-year-old sister, Liv, who is a very shy, quiet, well-behaved kid. With her parents or super close family friends, she is sassy, funny, outgoing, but around most adults she is super reserved. Zoe and Liv have an okay relationship, but I certainly wouldn't say they are close. Liv hates the movie character Krampus. When she was 4, she went downstairs on Christmas Eve and my mom and her friend were watching the movie in the dark living room, and it scared the sh*t out of her. It's not like she is still super scared of it, but she definitely still hates it. We were recently staying with my family while in between places, just for a month, and Zoe found a Halloween mask that looked similar to Krampus at her friend's house and thought it would be hilarious to prank Liv. I really don't think she had bad intentions. She has a mischievous streak and it was totally something Liv's dad would do. So Zoe woke her up with the mask and Liv didn't think it was funny and basically just wouldn't talk to her. My mom came into our room and very aggressively told Zoe, "If you ever go into my sleeping child's room again, we are going to have a huge problem." Zoe tried to say she was just playing around and she didn't think they would get mad as Liv's dad does stuff like that. My mom said he is her faith king dad. "You aren't family." Zoe was furious and asked if I was really not going to defend her. I said, "You are 100% my family, but Liv probably doesn't think of you as family, and that is understandable." My mom even clarified that is what she meant. She said she considers her husband family, but would never ask us to, and she told Zoe to accept that she isn't Liv's family. Zoe is furious with me for not standing up for her. I feel my mom was mostly right. Liv doesn't view Zoe as family, and is more closed off and reserved with her v's her dad, who she is 100% comfortable with, and would feel she could get back at. Zoe is my family, but it seems weird to push her on my family. Next story. Asked my pregnant wife to leave after she faked breaking up with me, and now she's saying I overreacted and don't care about her feelings. So, my wife and I have been together for 3 years and she's currently pregnant with our first child. For some context, I'm a surgeon and have always had long hours. This has been a known part of my life since before we started dating. Recently, she's been asking me to leave my job to do something with better hours, like private practice, because she says we need more time together. While I totally understand her perspective, being a surgeon is what I've worked my entire life for, and my long hours are just part of that. I can't just flip a switch and move into clinic work. It's not that simple, and it's not what I trained for. Anyway, the other day, out of the blue, she says she doesn't want to be in this marriage anymore because of the issues we've been having. Mainly, she wants more of my time, which, as I said, isn't possible given my career. When she told me she wanted out, I just said, okay. I told her that I appreciate her being honest, and that if she truly feels like she can't be happy with me, I understand. I'm a secure person, and if she's not happy, I'm not going to convince her to stay with me, just for the sake of staying together. She seemed surprised by my reaction and asked why I wasn't fighting for our marriage or trying to fix things. I told her that if I did, it would feel like I'm begging her to stay, and that's not what I want. If she's unhappy, she doesn't owe me a reason to leave. The point is that she doesn't want to be with me, and that's enough. This seemed to frustrate her even more. She said something like, "So you'd rather walk away than work on the reasons why I'm unhappy?" I told her, it's not that. I would have been happy to have a conversation about making things work realistically, but she already decided she wanted out, and I firmly told her that I wasn't going to be in a situation with my partner where they expected me to beg or grovel for their love. I respect myself too much for that. She started crying and confessed that this whole thing wasn't real, that she was just testing me. She wanted to see how I would react because she's been feeling neglected with me not being around enough, and she thought that breaking up would force me to address that. By that point, I'd already changed my mind. I told her I can't be with someone who would casually say they want to end our marriage just to get a reaction out of me. If she's willing to throw around the idea of breaking up so easily to make a point, that's a huge red flag for me. I told her I deserve a relationship built on mutual respect and commitment, and this isn't it. Now I've decided to leave. I've asked her to move to her parents' place since the house is mine. She's pregnant, and I know this complicates things, but after what she did, I don't feel like this marriage is salvageable. Was I too harsh? Next story.
Would I be wrong if I told everyone the truth about my husband, knowing it would completely ruin his reputation and damage our relationship beyond repair? Okay, so my husband has been dealing with some major issues. We have not yet figured out what it is, but he has been dealing with certain delusions. For example, it all started 6 months ago when he was convinced he had caught me cheating because he found a document saying so on my laptop. When I arrived home and he tried looking for it to show me, he obviously couldn't find it. He is going to therapy, but as of right now, we are technically separated and living in different rooms. It's just because this keeps happening. A certain insecurity eats itself into my husband, and he becomes convinced that it's the truth. He either dreams proof or he just convinces himself that anything is proof. Aid what he does with the therapist, but I honestly don't see it getting better. Last week, he was mad at our daughter, 15, because she didn't want him to drive her to prom and make pictures with her. When I went to ask her, she said that that was not true. She had talked to her dad about what she would like to do when she graduates in 2 years. Her father just got really mad at the perceived sly. The problem is that he keeps talking to people about the issues. I was already wondering why so many mutuals stopped responding to me. But apparently, they all think I am an awful human being and terrible spouse. I just want to tell people what is going on. Also, so they are aware that my husband is basically lying to them and for them to tell me delusions that he might be having that I don't know. But at the very beginning of his therapy, he begged me not to tell anyone because people would think he is crazy. My sister said that it would also be an hey thing to do that would basically feed into his delusions. I just feel like I am done.